Let's turn to business news now for the final night of the week, as is often the case on a Friday. Jonathan Mitchell is beaming in from Wellington. I just love your shirt collection. Jono, I'd steal it if it wasn't about 6 sizes too small for me. But
Thank you, John. I bought this one actually during the American election because I thought red and blue and white. But, this is a little bit of trivia for you.
Yeah. Let's talk about confidence reading and what we are hearing from, what is it, another survey? What is it?
Oh, we've had a lot of surveys this week, haven't we? This is about consumers, so they've certainly picked up their mood after the election where it was a bit of a lull. This follows on from the Business Outlook survey we had earlier in the week. That pessimism level is getting better. So I guess you'd say combined, the immediate shock of the election result and the policies that have followed have sort of eased a bit. Things are getting back to normal. Consumers and businesses together are a bit more upbeat about their own outlook and outlook for the economy. So we're expected to grow around 2 to 3% this year, lower than what we've been used to. But those drivers of the past sort of nearing their capacity constraints.
The country's second biggest port, Ports of Auckland, reported a flat profit. What's that all about?
It certainly was flat in the first half, around $29 million. They're putting a lot more money into their investment. They're really expanding the port just off the back of what's expected to be a rising population in our biggest city over the coming years. Remember we had Port of Tauranga's result a few days ago. That was a record for them for container volumes, so their profit was up. I put that to the Port of Auckland's Chief Executive, Tony Gibson, earlier today. He told me he isn't fazed by Tauranga's strength.
No, I think it's really important to focus on your own business. And look, our capacity growth is technology-led. We are really focusing on being an innovative technology solutions port. And I think that what you've got in a New Zealand environment is two ports which are extremely efficient. In fact, they're the two most productive ports in Oceania. That's good for the New Zealand supply chain. It's good for New Zealand Inc.
Tony Gibson talking to you earlier, Jono. What else did he say?
Well, certainly we've heard in the past that the Port of Auckland's future is on the table. We've had that feasibility study information come out that there's going to be a feasibility study on whether the Port of Auckland actually moves north to Northland. But Tony Gibson told me that they can't sit on their laurels and wait for that. They have to put the money in now to develop the port, increase their capacity and also launch some new freight hubs in South Auckland and Waikato as well. So for the full year, the profit is expected to be steady, similar to last year's. They're expected to get probably under 1 million containers in the full year, but that's against Tauranga's port. They're expecting 1.2 million.
Gosh, that's a hell of a lot of containers, isn't it? What happened on the markets today, Johnny?
We certainly followed the lead of Wall Street's slump out of that news from the White House about the tariffs. So we ended up down 54 points to 8,288, and the Kiwi dollar was up actually 72.7 US cents and 93.7 Australian.
Jonathan Mitchell, thank you for your work this week. Have a lovely weekend. Jono Mitchell out of our Wellington newsroom.